Hi, everyone. I'm Zinclair Samoa.
And I'm Kate Snow. NBC News Daily starts right now.
Today, Thursday, February 27th, 2025, stunning loss. Two-time Oscar winner Gene Hackman and his wife are found dead inside their New Mexico home. The investigation into what happened as we look back at his remarkable career.
When I realize how few movies I have seen.
It's okay. Grab the popcorn anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And stay with us. We'll get to that. But we are going to begin this hour with that investigation into the death of acting legend Gene Hackman.
Hackman, his wife, and one of their dogs were found dead in their New Mexico home yesterday. According to a search warrant affidavit, police consider the circumstances around their deaths suspicious, but they did not reveal a cause of death. Gene Hackman was 95 years old. His wife was 64.
Hackman is widely considered to be one of the greatest actors of all time. He won 2 Oscars during his career. The first came for his role as Detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle in The French Connection. That movie is also known for its famous car chase scene. Hackman went on to play other memorable characters on the big screen.
That's kryptonite, Superman. A little souvenir from the old hometown. I've spared no expense to make you feel right at home.
If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners.
NBC News Entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas joins us now. Chloe, it's really sad when you think about the loss here for the family. What do we know from investigators at this point, or from police? What are we learning about? It seems very mysterious what happened.
There are a lot of questions, and more questions than answers right now. So there was a press conference this afternoon with Santa Fe, New Mexico authorities. So it looks as though a maintenance worker went to the home yesterday, perhaps to do pest control. They have this sprawling, over $3 million estate. That's the entrance to the neighborhood. It's a gated community right there. And it appears that one of the doors was open. 2 of the family dogs were roaming the property, but they did find one deceased in a closet. They found Gene Hackman's wife in a bathroom. There were some prescription pills nearby. And then Gene Hackman was found with his cane next to him in the mudroom. I do want to play you a little bit of the 911 call that was made yesterday.
Are they breathing?
I have no idea. I'm not inside the house. It's closed. It's locked. I can't go in. But I see them. She's laying down on a floor from the window.
Are they moving at all?
No, dude, they're not moving. Just send somebody up here really quick.
So a lot of questions as to how long they had been there. So according to police, it appears they might have been deceased for several days, perhaps even weeks. Again, all of this is still unfolding. And his family has just released a statement earlier today. They had no comment, but they've just said that this was Dad. This was Grandpa, and how they're just devastated by the loss.
Yeah, understandably, they're devastated, as are so many. I understand a lot of tributes are also pouring in, right?
Yes, I mean, there's too many to count. You have Francis Ford Coppola, very famous director, who has come out with a statement saying that he was a great actor, inspiring, magnificent. There are just so many different people, from Antonio Banderas to different people who had worked with him, and just the tributes just keep pouring in.
Chloe Malas, thanks so much.
Now, the family of the Hollywood actor Gene Hackman have spoken of their devastation at his death, saying that they will miss him sorely. His body was found yesterday alongside that of his wife Betsy Arakawa and their dog at their home in the US state of New Mexico. Hackman was 95 and his wife, a classical pianist, was 63. Authorities reported no signs of injury, but deemed the deaths, and I quote, suspicious enough to investigate, and they haven't ruled out foul play. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office said the couple's bodies were found in different rooms and that they had been deceased for a while. Gene Hackman had a career spanning more than 6 decades, winning 2 Academy Awards for his work on The French Connection and Unforgiven. Our arts correspondent David Salito looks back at his life now.
All right, Popeye's here.
Maybe we should start with this.
Get off the bar and get on the wall.
Gene Hackman as Popeye Doyle in The French Connection, an Oscar-winning masterpiece.
Face the ball. Turn around there. Turn around. Move.
Wait!
Or maybe Superman, in which he played the evil real estate dealer Lex Luthor.
And Lex Baby is the only one who knows where he is.
Here, relaxing in the White House.
The world is a big place. As it turns out, I have this affinity for beachfront property. Let's hit it.
It's tough because there were so many standout performances.
I'm having a ball, scrapping and yelling.
Got more important things on my mind than that garbage.
But he'd worked hard for it. He was in his mid-30s before he had any real success. Bonnie and Clyde
Take a good look, Pop. I'm Buck Barrel.
won his first Oscar nomination.
For the Barrel Boys!
And after that, his big break. Bleak, brutal, gripping. The French Connection turned him into one of Hollywood's most compelling tough guys. But the role didn't come naturally.
Matter of fact, the second day of shooting, I had asked the director to replace me because I just didn't feel I could do it. I was popping these guys in the mouth and playing this tough guy, and it was real tough. I had never played a role that demanding, and after a while, you punch somebody long enough, you get kind of used to it, you know.
Well, I ain't gonna hurt no woman.
But he did get very good at it.
I'm gonna hurt you.
With an Oscar for Unforgiven and another nomination for Mississippi Burning.
Now, you either go on the record for us right now, or it's going to be your ass we're talking about, not just the black kids.
Films like The Conversation are 70s classics. Its director, Francis Ford Coppola, has led tributes today saying Gene Hackman, a great actor, inspiring and magnificent in his work and complexity. I mourn his loss and celebrate his existence and contribution. Not bad for an actor who was, along with his lifelong friend Dustin Hoffman, voted least likely to succeed at acting school. He may have lacked traditional film idol good looks, but he was undoubtedly a star.
The Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman, who has died at the age of 95.
And famed actor Gene Hackman has died. Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found dead in their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico yesterday. Authorities are still investigating the cause, but a search warrant affidavit described their deaths as suspicious. Police say both had been dead for some time before their bodies were found, along with one of their dogs. An open pill bottle and scattered pills were also found close to Arakawa's body. As John Yang reports, Hackman was one of the great actors of his generation.
As Best Actor of the Year, Gene Hackman receives his Oscar from...
Gene Hackman, the versatile everyman actor who won 2 Oscars, appeared in some 79 films in a career that spanned more than 4 decades. He was widely praised for his ability to bring a grounded and nuanced quality to flawed characters. It allowed him to play diverse roles across multiple genres.
She's a small-town girl.
1967's Bonnie and Clyde was his breakout performance, an outlaw who was fiercely loyal to his family. He got his first of 5 Oscar nominations for the film. Later, he was the paranoid and isolated surveillance expert in The Conversation, the iconic villain Lex Luthor in Superman, and the no-nonsense FBI investigator in Mississippi Burning.
So few people ever get what they really want in life. It's a make-believe world, and as I say, it's what I wanted to do as a child, and I fulfilled a lot of my dreams.
Many of his best-remembered roles were gritty tough guys. In 1971's crime thriller The French Connection, he portrayed a New York City cop willing to get his man at any cost.
All right, Popeye's here. Get your hands on your heads. Get off the bar and get on the wall.
And in 1992's Unforgiven, he played a brutally violent sheriff opposite Clint Eastwood.
See what kind of books Mr. Beauchamp is packing here. Go! It was against the law.
Hackman was adept at comedy, too, as the manipulative yet oddly charming father in The Royal Tenenbaums.
My God, I haven't been in here for years.
Hey!
And the staunchly traditional senator in The Birdcage. As the years passed, Hackman faced the challenges of an aging actor.
The older you get, the tougher some of the dialogue becomes. You don't retain all of it, so that part of it's becoming a little harder. I like it so much that I find it harder to do now because I'm maybe more intent than I've ever been.
Hackman was also a published author. He wrote or co-wrote 5 books, from historical fiction to westerns. Filmmakers and fellow actors showed their love for Hackman and his work in online tributes. Legendary director Francis Ford Coppola posted, Gene Hackman, a great actor, inspiring and magnificent in his work and complexity. Gene Hackman was 95 years old. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm John Yang.
Tonight, Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman and his wife found dead in their home. Authorities on the scene. Tonight, the mystery here. Authorities now investigating the suspicious deaths of Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, and one of their dogs. Police say their bodies were discovered in different parts of their home in Santa Fe and that they'd been there for some time. Hackman, a two-time Oscar winner, widely considered one of the best actors of his generation.
Now all you gotta do is pull the trigger, mister.
His career spanning decades, and tonight here we look back, including The French Connection, Hoosiers, and Unforgiven. And of course, the news coming in now in this investigation. And tonight here, Gene Hackman in his own words, what he told Diane Sawyer about the closest thing to heaven he experienced.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It is great to have you with us here on a Thursday night. We begin tonight with the search for answers after Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman and his wife were found dead in their New Mexico home, along with one of their dogs. Tonight, authorities are calling the deaths suspicious, and there are troubling new details emerging tonight. Gene Hackman, who was 95, starring in dozens of iconic films, considered one of the best actors of his generation, honored for his incredible range, playing heroes and villains and so many ordinary guys. But there was nothing ordinary about his acting. He was one of the greats, winning 2 Oscars for his work. He was found dead in one part of his home. His wife, Betsy Arakawa, and one of their dogs found dead in another part of that home. What they found near the bodies, perhaps they will offer clues. And tonight you'll hear the frantic 911 call from the caretaker who discovered the scene, seeing the bodies through the window of the home. ABC's Mola Lengi on the scene in that Santa Fe community, leading us off tonight.
Gene Hackman spent a lifetime playing unforgettable characters.
All right, Popeye's here. Get your hands on your heads. Get off the bar and get on the wall.
From his iconic role as rogue detective Popeye Doyle in 1971's The French Connection, to his turn as the sadistic sheriff Bill Daggett in Unforgiven.
Now all you gotta do is pull the trigger, mister.
The legendary actor, his wife, Betsy Arakawa, and one of their dogs were found dead at their home in Santa Fe Wednesday. Tonight, authorities are calling the deaths suspicious. According to the search warrant affidavit, deputies arrived at their home in this gated community in Santa Fe Wednesday afternoon after a caretaker spotted 2 bodies inside the home through a window and called 911.
But I see them, she's laying down on a floor from the window.
Do they appear to be awake or alert?
No, it's not.
Do you hear them talk or cry?
No.
Are they moving at all?
No, dude, they're not moving. Just send somebody out here really quick.
Deputies finding the door ajar and 95-year-old Hackman on the ground near the kitchen area, one observing a pair of sunglasses located near the left of his body, leading him to believe the male individual had suddenly fallen. The bodies showed signs of decomposition, indicating they had been dead for some time.
There was no indication of a struggle. There was no indication of anything that was missing from the home or disturbed.
65-year-old Arakawa found on the bathroom floor with a, quote, space heater near the female's head. A deputy observed an orange prescription bottle nearby that appeared opened with pills scattered on the countertop. One of the couple's dogs, a German Shepherd, found dead about 10 to 15 feet from Arakawa in a closet of the bathroom. 2 other dogs found alive on the property.
I think there was a dog door where they had access to come in and out of the house. So the other dog didn't. He was in a kennel or a crate. It's concerning that everyone in the house, including the dog, is deceased.
Well, David, police say there were no signs of a natural gas leak, no carbon monoxide detected, but they add that it's possible the gas could have dissipated in the time between their deaths and when authorities arrived on scene. David, tonight investigators are trying to figure out exactly how long the couple's bodies were inside the home before they were finally discovered, David.
Really so many questions. Mola Lengi leading us off tonight. Thank you. And as this investigation plays out, tonight we look back at Gene Hackman's remarkable career as the tributes now pour in from Clint Eastwood to Tom Hanks for Gene Hackman, the actor who said later in life that he lived a life he dreamed of.
Because you clearly haven't got the message. This is my town.
Gene Hackman was a gifted, prolific, Oscar-winning actor.
I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game. In my book, we're going to be winners.
For decades, bringing some of Hollywood's most memorable characters to life. Often called Hollywood's perfect everyman, but he was much more than that. He brought depth, charm, and an intensity to his roles.
Good afternoon.
His breakout role opposite Warren Beatty in Bonnie and Clyde in 1967.
We're going to have ourselves a time, boy!
We surely are.
I know the deal hasn't gone down. I know it hasn't. I can feel it. I'm dead certain.
Winning his first Oscar for Best Actor in The French Connection in 1971.
All right, nobody move! Put your hands in the air!
He was asked over the years about that scene, the pioneering car chase, considered one of the best ever.
We lost 3 cars. We had a siren on our car, which you didn't hear, of course, in the actual film, to kind of clear out the traffic, and then we would just go.
Gene Hackman teaming up with so many Hollywood stars, opposite Christopher Reeve in Superman.
That's kryptonite, Superman. Little souvenir from the old hometown. I spared no expense to make you feel right at home.
Ellison. With Tom Cruise in The Firm.
So we're not a couple of idealists.
Heaven forbid. Give him a missile key.
With Denzel Washington in Crimson Tide. With Sharon Stone and Leonardo DiCaprio in The Quick and the Dead.
Don't ever cross me. And don't try to stare me down like you're doing now.
And with Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven, he won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
You're right not to take it, Bob. I would have killed you.
Born in 1930, he lied about his age as a young man to enlist in the Marine Corps. He sold shoes, drove a truck to get by, while he worked on his dream of acting. He spoke of his father leaving the family when he was a child while he was outside playing. He remembered his father waving as he drove off. He would often say he was grateful to play a different kind of Hollywood leading man over the course of his 40-year career.
He changes, which always interests me in characters.
Get out of there!
We all have conflict. We all say we're one thing and really have to do another.
Tonight here, the tributes for Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy of 34 years, a businesswoman and former pianist. Legendary director Francis Ford Coppola posting this image of Hackman on the set of The Conversation, writing, "The loss of a great artist always cause for both mourning and celebration. Gene Hackman, a great actor, inspiring and magnificent in his work and complexity. I mourn his loss and celebrate his existence and contribution." Clint Eastwood tonight saying there was no finer actor than Gene. Intense and instinctive, never a false note, adding he was also a dear friend whom I will miss very much. Viola Davis posting this picture saying, "Loved you in everything, tough yet vulnerable. You were one of the greats." And Tom Hanks tonight sharing this picture and writing, "There has never been a Gene Hackman type. There has only been Gene Hackman." Tonight, the actor, in his own words.
In life, sometimes you do get what you want. I'm sure there'll be people who will argue with that. Life tends to go in peculiar ways.
Gene Hackman's work remembered tonight, and later right here, what Gene Hackman once told our Diane Sawyer, what Hackman described as the closest thing to heaven. His interview with Diane coming up. Finally, Gene Hackman in his own words.
Gene Hackman said he always looked for characters who were conflicted.
If somebody changes somehow, or somebody has some kind of a conflict in their character that you have to see resolved as an audience, that always interested me, because I think all of us have that.
He recognized he lived a life and a career he dreamed of.
It's all I ever wanted to do. So few people ever get what they really want in life. You give up a lot in terms of family, and I think you're always in North Africa or Spain or someplace. But it's a make-believe world, and it's what I wanted to do as a child.
And this is what he told Diane Sawyer on the magic of acting, collaborating with another actor, the closest thing to heaven he could imagine.
I desperately wanted to be an actor from the time I was 10 years old, but I was so shy and so intimidated by the process.
What was the thing you wanted in acting?
I suppose to be transported to somehow or another to play these people who seem to have this great life.
What do you mean by anything?
What do you think I mean?
For me, I suppose the most enjoyable thing I do is when I can make a scene work, when I feel I've contributed to another actor, where it's electric and where you've satisfied yourself that you have done everything you can to make that come alive. That to me is heaven, I suppose.
One of the greats. Good night.
If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners.
He won Hollywood's highest awards for dramas and comedies. Now Gene Hackman is at the center of a mystery.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Maurice Dubois.
I'm John Dickerson. Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found dead in their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Hackman was 95, his wife, a classical pianist in her mid-60s.
Karen Wah is following the investigation in Santa Fe.
There's a growing mystery surrounding two-time Academy Award winner Gene Hackman's death. His body, along with that of his wife's and one of their dogs, a German Shepherd, was found on Wednesday afternoon lying on the floor in separate rooms. They had apparently been dead for some time, according to investigators. At first, the sheriff's department here said there were no signs of foul play. But this morning, we learned from a court document that the deaths are considered suspicious enough to require an investigation. The document reveals that Hackman's body was found in a mudroom and that he may have fallen. Arakawa's body was found in a bathroom. There was a space heater by her head and an open prescription bottle on the countertop with some pills scattered near it. The sheriff's department says there appeared to be no traumatic injuries and no sign of carbon monoxide poisoning. Autopsies are being conducted that may help provide clues on the cause of death.
Karen Wah in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
And CBS Sunday morning correspondent Martha Teichner will have an appreciation of Gene Hackman a little bit later in the broadcast. Gene Hackman never considered himself a star, just a working actor who got lucky.
And when you think about the great movies he left us, you'd have to say, we got lucky too. Here's Martha Teichner.
Well, I always wanted to be an actor. That's all I ever wanted to do.
He was an unlikely leading man.
Feel you don't want to be on a team, feel free to leave right now.
He wasn't Hollywood handsome, but he was charismatic.
Either very smart or incredibly stupid.
You couldn't take your eyes off him. In nearly 80 movies, he played every part. Like the chameleon of a character actor he was at heart.
My wife.
Oh, that's right, isn't it? Well, we'll have to swing by her grave, too.
Gene Hackman won 2 Oscars. In 1972, in The French Connection.
What about the last of Big Time Spenders?
And then in 1993, in Unforgiven.
Well, I ain't gonna hurt no woman. But I'm gonna hurt you.
Cigars. He was a Hollywood titan who shunned Hollywood. Living with his wife, Betsy Arakawa, in the mountains near Santa Fe, New Mexico. I met him there in 2000, when he had just written the first of his 5 novels.
I need the diversity.
He dropped out of school at 16 and lied about his age to join the Marines, but had, in fact, a relentless intellect.
You paint, you dive, you write books. What else is on that list?
Well, I'm a pilot, and I've raced cars.
Gene Hackman's assessment of his own acting career?
One could say, you know, that I have achieved some manner of success.
That's some understatement. Gene Hackman was 95.
And that is the CBS Evening News.
Good night.
Is this you talking or some guy pulling your strings, huh?
Both.
We do it my way.
Your way.
With my people.
Whatever it takes.
Okay.
You've probably heard descriptions of actors like, they filled the screen or they showed range. If you didn't know what those really meant, Gene Hackman's 4 decades of examples pretty much tells you everything you need to know. For tonight's interview, we are joined by Variety Magazine's executive editor, Brent Lang, to talk about Hackman's legacy of work. Thanks so much, Brent, for being here tonight. The Times wrote about Hackman. He was the consummate everyman. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think that's actually the perfect way to describe him. I mean, the magic of Gene Hackman is that he didn't look extraordinary. He looked ordinary. He looked like your neighbor, your uncle, your grandfather, your father, yourself. I mean, he was the movie star as every man. I think that's a perfect way of putting it. No matter what role he played, he could play a spy, a submarine captain, a soldier, a policeman. He just seemed so real. He seemed like a person you might know.
And is that what we mean when we talk about having range?
I think that's absolutely what we mean. But I mean, it goes beyond that, because he also was able to do that, to be so truthful in a wide range of genres. He could do hilarious comedies like Young Frankenstein or The Birdcage. He could do something like Royal Tenenbaums, but then he could do some sort of searing drama like Mississippi Burning or a police procedural like French Connection, and be utterly believable in everything that he did. He never had a false move on screen.
Help me think about or place him in the category of leading men from his age, and also just what would he be considered a leading man?
I think he was considered a leading man. And it's interesting because in almost any other generation, he probably wouldn't have been a leading man. He would have been a character actor. But he had the great good fortune to emerge in the late 60s and the 1970s, when the whole idea of a leading man was being upended. And he was part of this generation of actors like Dustin Hoffman, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Robert Duvall, who really changed the whole idea of what it meant to be a star. And I think he was able to create these really nuanced performances and have these kind of anti-heroes. A lot of the people he played lived in a really morally gray, morally ambiguous area, and it made the parts, it made the films all the more fascinating because of the life he breathed into them. Do you have a favorite Hackman character or movie? I think my personal favorite would probably be Night Moves, where he plays this private eye who's obsessed with the mystery, and he always seems to be a few steps behind where everyone else was. It's really, it's kind of a little bit like Harry Call, but very much a 70s paranoid thriller, a masterful performance. And we have just about 20 seconds left. The fact that he left acting, does that say anything about Hackman or acting? I think it only says that he wasn't a pretentious actor. He wasn't interested in actorly things. He wasn't part of the Hollywood scene. He was an everyman on screen and off. Brent Lang from Variety, thanks so much for being with us. Thanks for having me.
But up next on Nightly News, the shocking death of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy. Lester Holt joins us from New York now.
Tonight, the investigation underway after the tragic death of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife. Their Santa Fe home now the site of an urgent search. Officials describing where they were found in a mudroom and bathroom and why the couple probably died weeks ago. The 911 calls just in tonight, and why so far foul play is not suspected, but not off the table. And we'll remember Hackman's remarkable body of work, 2 Academy Awards, and some of the most iconic performances, from Superman to the Royal Tenenbaums.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight's shock in Santa Fe, where screen icon Gene Hackman and his wife were found dead in their home. Their dog also deceased nearby. Authorities calling their deaths suspicious. Investigators spent the day searching the New Mexico compound for clues, saying the couple was likely dead for some time before being discovered by a groundskeeper with the front door ajar. Tributes pouring in for the beloved 2-time Oscar winner who starred in everything from The French Connection to Superman. Police revealing Hackman's wife was found with prescription pills scattered around her, and 95-year-old Hackman was found in a separate room with a pair of sunglasses near him, possibly indicating a sudden fall. Investigators adding there was no indication of a struggle, but the cause of death is unknown. Dana Griffin reports tonight from just outside of their family home.
Tonight, chilling new details in the death of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife of 34 years, Betsy Arakawa.
You know, all I can say is they have been deceased for quite a while.
Their bodies found Wednesday afternoon after a groundskeeper called 911 after arriving at their Santa Fe, New Mexico home and seeing them through a window.
Are they moving at all?
No, dude, they're not moving. Just send somebody out here really quick.
Authorities are investigating the deaths as suspicious, but have already ruled out a carbon monoxide leak and say there were no obvious signs of foul play.
There was no indication of a struggle. There was no indication of anything that was missing from the home or disturbed.
When deputies arrived, they located the body of Hackman's 65-year-old wife in a bathroom located near the front door, which was open according to the warrant. Officers noted an orange bottle of prescription pills scattered on the countertop and a space heater near her head, which detectives say could indicate she fell abruptly to the ground. 95-year-old Hackman was found dead in a mudroom near the kitchen, according to the warrant. It states his cane was next to him, indicating he may have fallen and was unable to get up. Deputies also found the couple's German Shepherd dead in her crate. The warrant says both Jean and Betsy's bodies showed signs of decomposition.
This is an investigation, so we're keeping everything on the table. You know, I think the autopsy is going to tell us a lot.
There's some here, I saw it.
Gene Hackman had come to define what a true actor is.
To be the best that you can be.
With the uncanny ability to vanish into any role, Hackman drew from within to put nuance into all the tough guy roles he portrayed.
All right, Popeye's here.
Is that gun just for show?
Hackman was 36, playing the simple-minded Buck Barrow in Bonnie and Clyde when Hollywood took notice. Soon after, his tough-as-nails good cop Popeye Doyle in The French Connection earned him his first Oscar. Hackman won his second Oscar for playing a bad sheriff in 1992's Unforgiven.
Misfire.
But he felt the tough guy roles never really pushed him.
We were cast so close to type in films that you can only do so much within your own persona.
Towards the end of his career, Hackman found he preferred comedy for the challenge.
Comedy's harder because, you know, it isn't arbitrary. If they don't laugh, it doesn't work.
Moving to Santa Fe after retiring, Hackman continued to work as a novelist, publishing his 5th book in 2013, always letting his actions speak for him on the written page and the silver screen. Tonight, the Sheriff's Department says they are awaiting official toxicology and autopsy results to help them determine the exact cause of death. They say this remains an ongoing investigation. Meanwhile, the Hackman family releasing a statement saying they are devastated by the loss. Lester?
Dana Griffin starting us off tonight. Thanks. And now to that